depend on where you're working. If it's just maybe if it's mental health, sometimes they just say it's support work. But healthcare assistant in the hospital, sometimes you have to do clinical observation, you have to do blood tests, you have to do ECG and so now depend on how you're trained. In the hospital, in the acute setting, they have level 2 healthcare assistant and they have level 3. So level 2 is equivalent to the support work in the community. So every trust have their own designation. So I went into nursing school with my BSc already, right? So I kept well, you could see that's I applied to UCAS. Now looking back, if I had known, I wouldn't have applied through UCAS. I would have applied as through ACA. I would have allowed like kind of go instead of going through. I would have done with, because I would have asked questions with the university, because I didn't know they were going to accept my master's as second year. Are you getting it? So I went and started from
I don't understand that bit.
I had a master's in biology education, yes. Right? I'm a teacher, but I came into the university in the UK with my BSc, because let me tell you, when EKICS translates your results, your school SAT, right, in like our WAEC results, it's not easy to just get it to go into university. It allows you to stay in the foundational state, maybe like college, to get your A level. Yeah, it doesn't take you straight into the university. So that's why sometimes they'll say you come and do foundation. So with my BSc and my GCSE, because it's been long I did my GCSE now since 1999. So they have to combine both together, and that's how I was able to get the admission. I did apply through UCAS. So when I was saying, if I had known then, because of information, I would have gone into year 2 straight into nursing. I would have done masters in nursing itself instead of starting from the scratch. That's the information we're coming to share with all of you. But disclaimer, please, when I went to university, there was a lot of things they were doing. So if you are going last year, you are going this year, a lot of things would have changed. So I don't want to be misquoted. I'm talking about what worked out for me then. I had my GCSE equivalent, my transcript was sent down, that I studied biochemistry in English, and everything went through. So I studied adult nursing. So adult nursing, working with people from age 18 to 100 and Methuselah age, if you want to. But as long as it's adults, it's a very, very wide field. Adult nursing is wide. It's only when you finish you can then decide which specialty you want to go into. But I know that there is some another route of getting into nursing would be a nursing associate, right? How do you get nursing associate? Now, this nursing associate, they also are like, if you are working as an ACA and you want to go into nursing, your organization can decide to train you, whereby you'll be going to university like once in a week or twice in a week, and then working and studying at the same time. But for you to be able to get into that registered nurse level, you have to have done 2,000. I don't know if they increase the reduce now, almost 2,000 hours. Why and the requirement is so much that people just say, okay, you know what, let me just say in associate nursing. But they are almost doing almost the same job as registered nurses, but it is not everything. There is still restrictions. So if you want to go into nursing, the first thing you should know is nursing is a mind thing. It's a mind. If you're not ready, if you cannot take anything from anybody, do not do it. Why I'm saying, emphasizing on that, there is something called care. Care is inbuilt. You cannot pretend to care because you want to make money, right? But if you have that care and compassion in you, you should come into nursing. If you have that, if you can have that confidence to be resilient when something goes wrong. You are seeing someone in this bay the person just lost their newborn baby, and you're going to the next bay, they are happily, they have twins children, you rejoice with this person, you cry with this person. That is the resilience. If you cannot be able to hold yourself to control that microsecond, you should not go. And all that thing you need to understand, when people are getting older, the body changes. So we tend to see elderly people in this our profession that sometimes they do things you be wondering, why are they doing these things? It's not them. It's because their body has changed. So you have to, if you cannot be patient with a younger child, you cannot be patient with an adult at the same time. You should not go into nursing. Nursing is not for the faint-hearted. It is draining. It is mind draining that you see a lot of things going on in the world, and you still drive yourself back home and still come to your family, go into the kitchen and cook, and still receive phone call, and still come to TikTok and start laughing. It is not that. So if you know you are interested in nursing, first of all, make up your mind. Tell yourself, why am I doing this thing? Am I doing it because they said there is money? Yes, there is money, because it depends on where you're working. Depends if you have the strength, you will make the money. But if you cannot be able to maintain that physique, because you have to be mentally sound, you have to be okay to care for people. You don't want to put yourself in danger and still put other persons in danger, because the pain you struggle to get, because when you finish your nursing degree, you get a pain, and that your pain is associated with your DBS at the same time. So you have two things to protect: your DBS and your pain. So there are a lot of things that you need to think of before going into nursing. Nursing is a very, very fulfilling profession. It is one of the, it has been in existence for ages, but it now depends on how it is being practiced. So I migrated from healthcare assistant to nursing. That's what makes mine very easy as adults, no, like a matured nurse, because everything I did in my care job for that first 8 years I started doing the carer was what I was studying in my first year. So that first year is caring for the ability for you to care for people and recognize their deteriorating state. You can see somebody talking to you and their blood pressure is dropping. That's why you should be, that's what now brings you into that aspect of care. I believe for you to know that there is something that is wrong, and then call whoever is in play around you or call for help. So the first thing you should know, I will advise some people, if you know you want to go into nursing, don't just go and do care job for like 1 month or voluntary. No, go and do care job for like 1 year. Get that compassionate care, and then come for nursing. Nursing is a very good profession, because I personally, I sleep with nursing, I wake with nursing. Every app I have in my phone is nursing. Yeah. Everything I'm doing is nursing. Yeah. So it is a very in Nigeria, the nurses is like a general nurse. You study everything. But in the United Kingdom, it is like my sister likely said, it is different. It is mental health, children nurse, adult nurse, learning disability nurse. So I belong to the adult nurse, whereby it has lot of clinicals. If you are scared of blood, don't come to nursing. No. Even my sister that says she cannot take blood, she will see blood sometimes now, because the mental health sometimes
No, if you don't like blood, don't do adults, or you can do mental. Mental, we don't
you
deal
will
with
see,
blood.
babe, you will see mental when
Yeah,
they go
but you're
mental.
not actively into it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so if you work in somewhere like rehabilitation, people that want to transit to you won't see blood at all. So it just depends on which area of mental health.
So one of the things that has actually helped me, because during my biochemistry days, I actually work in the hospital, Eco Hospital in Lagos. So I was working in the pathological laboratory. We do chemistry tests, pathological tests, microbiology tests. So I was already in that line. So my foundation has been there, and that helped me. And that does not mean that you have to have that foundation as me to come into nursing. The first thing is your mindset. As long as you have your maths and your English, and if possible, come for have your experience of care. It now depend on the university. Some of them don't even mind. Just have your maths and your English and your experience of care job, maybe like care certificate, and then apply. they consider a lot of things. I can't tell you this is what this university would take, but make sure you do your findings, your see if you can go through UCAS, see the funding that is available for you, and how you can manage your family. You don't want to go to university or go to school and then lose out on your relationship as well. So another thing you can also do is another access to nursing is some companies, if you are working with them as healthcare assistant, they will agree to support you. Like take for instance, in the community setting, you can be a support worker in the community and then be learning alongside. So that it now depends on what do you want. Are you getting it? You can't be all over the place. You have to pick one. And even when you qualify as adult nurse, you can then pick what you want to do. You can decide to say, oh, I want to be a respiratory nurse. I want to be a cardiac nurse. That's your specialty. So you still have more rooms to like expand. You don't just stay one place. Or you can say, oh, I'm tired of studying. I want to be a bedside nurse. That is even much rewarding, because the rate at which people are living bedside nurse these days is alarming. And we want more bedside nurses. We want more ACAs to become nurses, because when ACAs are nurses, I'll tell you, when I was working yesterday, I saw this girl. I said, I used to know this girl. This girl is ACA. Not knowing. That's why when I see my Indian counterpart or my South Asia counterpart, I don't disrespect those people. Some of them are nurses in their country, but when they come to this place, because of the English test and everything, they will go for ACA job. And while they are doing that ACA, you will not even know there are nurses watching you. So I saw one of them. I was like, so you're not a nurse. What are you doing? She said she was already like a band 6 in Korea before she came into the United Kingdom. So she just passed a requirement to become a nurse. So it is interesting when you are a